Next game is number 2, Florida at number 10, Georgia. This game is huge because Florida wins. Guess what that means?
They're pretty much a lock for the SEC title game.
Yes, they are. They will clinch a spot in the conference title game if they win against Georgia this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So that adds a lot of pressure on a Florida team that went, I think it was 7-6 last year, and nobody had expectations of them being who they are this year. No question about it. Didn't see it coming. And congratulations to them for being able to do it. But the simple fact of the matter is nobody saw it. And now here we are, one win away from them clinching a spot in the conference title game, which in turn could lead to them getting a spot in the conference in the national championship. Now, Georgia themselves has been up and down this season. They seem to have been starting to find a groove, but their defense is a joke, I guess you would say. They do not play very, very well. They've given up at least 20 points in every game but one and more than 300 yards to their opponents in all 7 games that they've played this year. So their defense, which was considered to be one of their strengths going into the year, has turned into almost like a liability. So I guess my question is this a defensive battle with the team that makes the most mistakes wins?
Florida has the better defense. I mean, they've played some really good defense, especially the last couple weeks, too. I'm interested to see how Georgia gets their running game going against Florida's defense because they got a couple of freshmen there that are really, really good. And they haven't been running that well lately, but they started the season real strong, and they have potential. They're going to grow into something, these two kids. And I'm just interested to see, can they get that run game going? Because if they can get that run game going and then Murray can start working some play action and working some, hitting his receivers, but not having to rely on it, they got a shot. And whoever wins this game is going to be in the driver's seat. Plus, Georgia's home. Home team, I kind of like them at home, but I'm hard-pressed to pick them because Florida's been playing so good. They're so unexpectedly good, too. I mean, I think
that's
when
they
were
7-6 last year. Nobody saw them being where they're at right now.
No, and I'm pretty sure that if they were ranked at the beginning of the year, it was in the 20s. I think I want to say 24.
I mean, I can actually find that out if you want to chat
find
up
that
for
out.
a minute about this game.
Yeah, well, because they've literally climbed through the ranks faster than anybody else because they've looked that good. They've looked that impressive, and especially their wins the last 2 weeks over South Carolina and LSU, or over the last few weeks, are big-time wins.
Florida in the AP preseason poll was ranked 23rd. And then, let's see, by week 2, give me one sec, we're loading. And now
I think it went to 14.
Went to 14? I could believe that. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to load up for me right now. I'll try one more time. But 23rd in the preseason poll. They were up to, after week 2,
maybe
after week
17?
2, they were 24. They dropped the spot. At 1-0, they dropped the spot only at 145 points when it comes down to how they do their rankings, compared to Bama's 1481. So, I mean, you're talking, I'm trying to see when they finally jumped up. They jumped up to 18 in week 3. So, I mean, they earned getting up to where they are. Let's be serious. 18 in week 3, 14 in week 4. So, I mean, I want to see when they finally crack the top 10. 11 in week 5. So this Florida team has slowly worked their way up. And they didn't crack the top 10 until week 7. October 7th, when the AP 25 ranking came out, was when they first cracked the top 10, and they jumped all the way up to number 4. In week 6, they were ranked 11th. We are now, how many weeks in, and now they are ranked number 2. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. I think this Florida team surprised a lot of people. Now, Georgia has actually lost 11 of their last 14 games against Florida. Keep in mind, you had a nice stretch of Tim Tebow games where, nobody was pretty much beating Florida anyway. But I do want to say, I think this Georgia team being at home, it seems like they're starting to find a groove in how they want to play and how they want to go out and execute their game plans. So I'm going to go with the upset. Florida's going through that gauntlet. We talked about this earlier, how South Carolina had to go boom, boom, boom. And now Florida is on that same type of gauntlet. They played South Carolina last week. You got Georgia this week. So I'm going to go with the upset, and I'm going to say that Georgia wins this, and the SEC East comes down to the final week. Sound good? Sound good. I like it.
Well, sounds good to you. I'm taking Florida because Florida's run game has been really good the last few weeks. Even though Driscoll hasn't thrown a lot, he hasn't really needed to. The defense has been picking up the slack. They've, like I said, with the way they've been playing lately, I can't go against them. I gotta, would it shock me if Georgia won? No, but I'm not taking them. I'm taking Florida.
And look, I don't think anybody would look at you, no matter who you picked in this game, and said you're an idiot.
And I think it's really for the stat that you brought up before about Georgia's defense is they're just not as polished this year. They're giving up points and they're giving up yards. Florida's going to put up a few points. They are. And especially on that defense. If their defense is giving up 20, Florida's probably going to put up more than that. 27 to 30, maybe 31.
So you like Florida putting up some points?
I like Florida putting up at least what Georgia's given up.
Yeah. And
I don't think that Georgia's going to have enough on the back end, enough scoring and enough offense to make up the difference and find a way to win. I really think this is Florida's game to lose, and especially because they know 7-0 ranked number 2. This is their ticket. If they can win this game, they go against either Alabama or LSU for a shot at the national title. This is playoff football right now. Everybody says there's no playoffs. You need a playoff system. Then you're not watching this sport closely enough because this is a playoff game. This can make or break your whole season.
Yeah, no, this game definitely has playoff attitude to it because Florida wins, you clinch. Georgia wins. They pretty much hold their destiny in their hands.
There's 2 games. You have to win this game if you're Florida or Georgia, and then you get a shot at the SEC championship game, which is like the semifinals. And if you go win that, even if you're a one-loss team and there's a couple unranked teams out there, a one-loss SEC team is getting to the national championship game. That will happen.
Yeah. I mean, it tends to be almost the norm. I mean, not to... seriously, it really does. It seems to be the norm with the SEC. One SEC team seems to just represent in the national championship for at least the past 5 years, if not longer. There's been an SEC team in the in the national championship game. I'm pretty sure. So I like Georgia. Eric likes Florida.